Wellness Center, and this video we are discussing a plant-based diet. Now this is something that's becoming very popular recently. Again, in the news, if you had noticed, there's Dean's. This is one of the largest dairy producers in America, is declared for a bankruptcy. Now why exactly is that? Because if you've noticed, there's things like your almond milks and your coconut milks and so many of these different plant-based milks that are gaining a lot of popularity. And why exactly is that? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So let me just start off with what exactly is going on. If you've been watching the TV recently, you've seen that some of these big burger joints like your Burger King and all these places are actually introducing a vegetarian or a plant-based patty in their meals. Impossible Burger. And now Dunkin' Donuts has introduced what they call the Impossible or the Beyond Meat sandwich. So Impossible Burger, Beyond Meat, these are all gaining a lot of popularity now. Why is that? Because they're discovering that plant-based protein is supposed to be, well, much higher quality protein than your animal-based protein. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Now, let me tell you a few things about this. There's been a lot of research on plant-based protein. They're doing all these things to find out exactly how much protein plants contain versus animals contain. Well, we all know, we've always heard about you need to eat meat to get more muscle, you need to eat meat to have more energy, or more protein. You need more meat for protein is what we've always kind of thought of. Well, they're showing that plant protein actually contains much more protein, or actually it contains much more of the amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins, right? So they contain much more of the amino acids and essential amino acids than animal proteins contain. So that's one of the big reasons why a lot of people are switching over to more of a plant-based. And of course, it's much healthier. Your animal proteins or your animals contain a lot more of what they call the saturated fat. Your red meat, a big slab of steak has a lot of protein in it, but it does contain a lot of fat as well. This fat is also one of the reasons why people are considering, well, it's the saturated fat, which is actually not good for your body or our health. Those are just a few of the things. Now, plants, yes, we've known that they've been engineered. There's the whole GMO and all that kind of stuff. But when we go about talking about animals and the animal proteins or the animals that we are consuming, your beef, your chicken, your fish, all of these, there is so much of these hormones that are being pumped into that. There's commercial farming methods. They're pumping cows full of a lot of artificial hormones, antibiotics, all this stuff, not just to increase the quality of meat, but the quantity of the meat. Right? A dairy cow can only produce a certain amount of milk, but what do? They pump it full of hormones, and that hormone makes the cow produce more milk than it's supposed to. And now that's the milk that we are consuming. Same goes for beef cattle. What happens with the beef? Well, some of these cows are not designed to be eaten that way, so they're pumping them full of these hormones. Now, the biggest one of these hormones is not just your growth hormone, that's one of them. There's something called IGF-1, what is insulin-like growth factor 1. Insulin-like growth factor 1 is a growth hormone. It's part of the whole growth hormone deal, but what it does is it's part of what they call a anabolic hormone. Anabolism means building. There's two processes in the body. There's anabolism and catabolism. So there's building up of cells and all that, and there's catabolism, which breaks down certain cells. So IGF-1, or your insulin-like growth factor, is an anabolic hormone. This is what allows certain cows to start getting much bigger, allows the cows to produce more milk, a lot of different things. And IGF-1 is the biggest culprit that is found in any and all animal proteins. From your chicken, your beef, even your fish contain IGF-1. Now, so IGF-1, why is that exactly bad? Because as I mentioned, it is anabolic, which means it helps make things in the body. Now, for humans, we have a certain period of time where our bodies want to make stuff. Right? During puberty, you start getting those growth spurts and all. That's when your body has higher levels of IGF-1. So you get this nice growth spurt. And then what happens once you hit about 20, 30, 40 years old? Well, it's supposed to slowly decline. Now, they've done a lot of studies on people, 45 to 65 nowadays. People that consume a lot of animal proteins have a lot of IGF-1 in them. Now, having a lot of this IGF-1 does what? Well, as I said, it's anabolic, which means it's going to help with growth. Now, at certain ages, we don't want too much growth, right? If you put too much of this IGF-1 in your body, it starts proliferating your cells. This is one of the big reasons why people are ending up with cancer. What is cancer? Overgrowth of cells, right? What is IGF-1 doing? It's making your cells grow much more than they're supposed to. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of these, cancer risks, or the different prostate cancers, breast cancers, stuff that we are noticing in people in certain age groups is because of these animal proteins. Same goes for diabetes. IGF, the way I just said, insulin-like growth factor. So again, it's boosting up your insulin levels. What makes that? What does that do? Gets your body become more insulin resistant and end up with diabetes. So there's a lot of different things. Now there's also research that has shown that IGF-1 and some of these other hormones increase your risk for cardiovascular disease much more than when you're consuming a plant-based diet or when you're consuming protein from a plant-based stuff. Protein is just one part of our meals. That's what we need. We need the carbohydrates, the fats, all these things are still good. So plant-based diets are, again, I'm not going to say it's the way to go or is the only thing. It's for you to make a choice, right? Plants are more and plentiful now. We have that. We were designed to eat plants. They talk about going back into the ancestry and all that, like our teeth are not canine. We don't have those big sharp canines to rip and tear meat. We're designed to grind grains and stuff like that with our teeth. So there's a lot of things that way that you can kind of listen to that too. But the plant-based products, they have noticed that are much healthier. The way I said, much more amino acids, much better absorbed and digested by our bodies. And we were designed to eat a lot of these plants. So I'm not just saying we got to stop and start eating only plants, but it's something worth a try. If it lowers your risk for cardiovascular disease. There's been a lot of research recently. Before all this stuff came out, now they've been doing a lot of research and studies on group of people, right? People with high cholesterol levels, people that are on more of the Western diets, which is more high in saturated fats and meats and stuff that we're eating. People that have high cholesterol levels, when they actually even go for 7 to 10 days on a pure plant-based diet, are known to have lowered their cholesterol levels, lowered their sugar levels and all that a significant amount. So it'd be worth the try. It's something that I'd say if you are suffering from any kind of metabolic syndrome, you have heart disease, you have diabetes, you have cholesterol problems, any of those kind of things, try a plant-based diet. See what it does for you. And I'm sure, because we've done a lot of those in our office, that's one of the things that we suggest to people that have chronic illnesses is try a more of a plant-based diet. We're not saying you're going to suddenly not eat meat at all. You can have certain portions of small amounts of meat, but if you do more of a plant-based diet, get more of your proteins from plant bases, you will notice significant changes not in your health, but even the numbers of your health factors, right? Cholesterol levels, blood pressure levels, sugar levels, all big things that are very concerning to everybody. You'll notice a big change in those levels. So try it. You don't have to do it, switch over completely into plant-based. Try it a few days a week. And then if you like it, if you notice some changes and all that, energy levels go up, a lot of different things. Now, the whole reason why I did this talk was there is a documentary a while back. It's called The Game Changers. This is produced by big shot names like your Arnold Schwarzenegger, James Cameron, all these guys that have put together a documentary where they're actually showing how plant-based diets have helped a lot of these Olympic athletes, not just Olympic athletes, athletes worldwide. They're performing better. Now, there's been a lot of NFL teams, a lot of the football teams, there's the Miami Dolphins and all these, where they're actually trying, a lot of the players are trying plant-based diets versus the animal diets. And they're noticing the guys that perform much better are the ones that are on plant-based diets. Again, that's something for you to think of, right? So yes, there's a lot of things that plant-based diets can do for you. Try it for yourself, see how you feel, and if you are somebody that is on a plant-based diet and you would like to tell us how you've been noticing any changes, please comment below. And again, share this information. We always like to kind of help, just educate people and empower them on their health. There's so many options out there. Why pick one and choose one? Well, we just kind of show you some things that you may understand and see how it works for you. So hope this information has helped, and again, if it has, share it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.